Hello, today with us we have the president of Charles Nenner Research Center, Mr. Nenner himself. Mr. Nenner initiated a system of pattern forecasting and securities analysis and developed a computer program which takes many indicators into account, including Mr. Nenner's use of proprietary cycle analysis. So Mr. Nenner, in order to eliminate the elephant in the room, what does technical analysis tell us of Ethereum's possible price swing in the near or long term?
Well, it's not totally clear to me what the definition of technical analysis is. I think it's a visualization of fundamental analysis, but we don't have much fundamental analysis on the cryptos. I developed a system many years ago that has a certain algorithm and that can tell exactly the dates that something happens and the price that something happens, because I don't believe moves happen at random. So we have been negative on the Ethereum already for a long time. It's now trading around 1,000. It's getting close to a short-term cycle low, but longer-term cycles are down, which means is that there's not too much upside for Ethereum.
So is technical analysis more of an answer to a question when to buy, let's say, Ethereum, or when not to buy yet? Or an answer to a question if it needs to be bought at all?
The work we do is based on cycles. That means it's a regular interaction between tops and bottoms. So if you calculate it, you know when the next top and the next bottom is. And the second thing we do is that based on the fact that Ethereum or any asset goes up with a certain momentum, you can calculate how high or how low the price goes. It doesn't stop just at random. There happen always to be a reason why there is a turnaround in Ethereum, but it's not clear that there's any correlation between that. So what we deal with is what's going to happen and when it's going to happen. And for the moment, we're still negative on the cryptocurrencies.
So this brings me to my next question. Is technical analysis in cryptocurrencies as relevant as, say, in stocks and commodities? Cryptocurrencies being extremely volatile, there must be some trust percentage that one should apply in consideration of technical analysis applied to cryptos? I mean, is it?
Well, as I said before, there's almost no fundamental news on cryptos. So if we do a cycle work, there can be a small interaction if a fundamental item comes out with stocks, but it almost doesn't happen with cryptocurrencies. It's all emotions. And since our system is based on predicting the emotions and interpretation of the markets, it's actually the best market to predict of all the other assets.
And of course, you know, I have to ask you, what are your favorite, most reliable technical indicators that you would suggest using cryptocurrencies technical analysis?
Well, like I said, we don't use technical analysis. We use cycle work. That means is we know when the next cycle low and the next cycle top is. And we know what the prices of the next cycle top and the next cycle low. So for instance, in Ethereum, when it reaches the cycle low, and now the cycles support higher cycles and it reaches our downside price target, we consider it a buy until the cycle tops again.
So what is your perspective? Should fundamental analysis be a primary driving force in the decision-making whilst considering buying certain cryptocurrency, or should technical analysis be a major factor, or both? And what is your, let's say, pipeline doing an analysis of certain cryptocurrency?
Well, as I said before, I don't think there's much fundamental research you can do on cryptocurrencies. So you can disregard that. And in general, the system that we use doesn't really look at fundamentals, because the fundamentals are subject to the interpretation of the markets. So the facts are not important, but the interpretation of the facts are important, which is an overview of the psychology in the market. So in this case, cryptocurrencies, I don't think there's any help in looking at fundamentals.
Could you explain a little bit more? How does your system work?
Yes, so the system, like I said, is based on time cycles and it's based on price targets. And if I might give an example that seems strange, but it always works, is that if you look at the equity markets, every time a year ends with a 7, you get a serious down move. So that happened the end of 2017, beginning of 18. And before that, it happened 2007, 2008. Before that, it happened in 1997, 98. Before that, in 1987, etc., etc. You can go back to 1807. The only exception was 1929. And since that cycle came late, there was a very fast down move in 1929 because it had to catch up and hit the bottom of the cycle at the right time. So there are very clear patterns that insiders know, and it doesn't have anything to do with the news.
And so how does it work in cryptocurrencies?
In cryptocurrencies, we have the same kind of cycles. Like I said, there are no news items that have any influence. So you just have to know every how many weeks, how many days there is a top or a bottom in the cryptos. I think you can even calculate it by hand. And you see there's a very clear pattern, and then you can project in the future. And then you know exactly when a crypto is going to go up and how long it's going to go up for.
And for how long have you used cycles in cryptocurrencies?
Well, we have been starting the algorithm about 3-4 years ago, because we need actually at least 10 years of data to find the recurrent cycle. But now we have enough data on Ethereum and on Bitcoin to do a good prospective what's going to happen.
So what would you say to what kind of signals does your service give?
The service gives long and short-term cycles. That means is you have yearly, weekly, monthly cycles. We even have an intraday service. So you want to know if the Ethereum goes up, what hour during the day and how many hours it goes up and how high it goes up. We have that service also because it's based on the same recurrent laws of nature, and they don't change. The psychology of the investor doesn't change. You only have to know how to predict it.
So you give a buy signal, you give a sell signal. How do you call a price target?
The price target is, let's say, Ethereum, it's now around 1,000. Let's say, I think we are short last time from 1,890. And when it goes above 1,240, the sell signal is canceled. So we cover the short position. And then based on the move on the 1,000 to 1,250, we can calculate what the next high is for Ethereum, and we can take profit again over there.
Mr. Nenner, thank you so much for stopping by and having a chat with us today. And for those watching out there, make sure you check out charlesnenner.com for a 30-day free trial for their services. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode.